Okay, so for Easter, I decided I wanted to do a different painting than like a bunny. So we're going to do a really pretty Easter lily. Lilies are some of my favorites. And I kind of want to make it kind of a pastel-y color. Is that even a word? But I've got sky blue and white. This is just a craft paint. And I'm going to put this together. And I'm just going to see if I can make this pretty light. Yeah, it's pretty light. And I'm just going to paint over. I know where the little stuff is in the background. But I'm going to go ahead and we'll put dark up in this color, up in this color, up in this corner. And let's see, I'm going to go ahead and kind of leave my outline of my flower so I kind of know where it was. And I do have the tracer available. It'll be with down below the video, I believe, on my Patreon page. And let's see if we can get this going here. That's kind of dark. I'm going to add some more white. I just don't want it to be that dark. And on this side, I want it to be a little lighter even. So I'm going to add a little more white. And of course, this is all up to you. I mean, you can have any color background you want. Orange, purple, yellow, sunset, sunrise, however you want to do it. I just kind of want this a little lighter blue over here. Kind of like the sun's coming from this area maybe. And you can see my flower through there, which is great. A little lighter even up here. I think we'll add a lot more white up here. Let's see. Yeah. And we'll start getting a little darker again towards the middle. I want to make sure I get all that background color because that definitely goes in between there. And a little darker over here. And just kind of blend that together. You can still see my drawing behind the light blue because it's a pretty transparent color. And we'll put some more white over here. I just slung white paint all over the place. I'm glad there's not a dog sitting over there. They would now have white paint on them. And let's see, just kind of a, and that's kind of a gray there because of, I picked up that pencil, and that's okay too. I don't mind that being there at all. Let's kind of lighten this up just a little here so it blends in a little better with this background over here. And carry over a little blue and a little darker on this side. And this is just sky blue and white, and I'm just kind of putting it on here randomly. I do like the lighter color, a little bit more to the right that's lighter, only because it kind of makes it stand out a little bit more over here. And we can even go a little bit lighter. And just kind of bring that in. See how that's kind of a really light blue, and then it goes to dark blue over here. I just kind of like the look. Okay, now let's go ahead. I'm going to rinse out that brush. That was just a 1-inch flat brush. So let me go ahead and kind of draw in or paint in where my flower will be, my flower petals will be. Let's go ahead. I'm going to use a round brush here, and I'm going to use white and kind of go like this. It's got a little, like it's bent over on the top there. I'm going to bring it down a little bit in here. And it is picking up some of the gray, which is fine, or the pencil, which makes it gray, which is fine. We're going to go over all this again. Just kind of get some white paint on here. See where my petals are going to be. Yeah. I'm going to bring that out a little wider to cover that. Just kind of missed the spot with the blue. Oops, went too far, and that's okay too. I mean, leaves can be a little wild, or the petals can be a little wild. Okay, so that's kind of my flower there with all the petals going different directions. Now I'm going to go ahead and get out a little bit of the, let's use yellow. This is just bright yellow, and it's a craft paint. And get some out here. And there's my yellow, and I'm going to go ahead and mix that with some white to kind of lighten it up a little bit. And we kind of have yellow through the middle here. Through the middle of all of them here. Just a light pale yellow. Kind of blend it into the white. See how that kind of blends on in. And this one is kind of in a shadow, so we kind of spread it out a little. And this one kind of goes about right there. Okay, so now we've got the yellow, the nice little shiny center pieces. Now I'm going to take a green. I like I'm an olive kind of person. What color is this? This is, let me look at it. I don't have my colors planned very well. Medium foliage green. It's also a craft paint. Let's see if I have enough here. Yeah, I think so. It's kind of dark, but we're going to give that a shot with some white. So I'm going to mix that with a little white and a little yellow. And we're going to lighten it up a little bit here. Let's see what that looks like. And this actually comes out of the center. The green comes out of the center. And down the middle here, like so. Kind of blend it in. It almost looks like a splash, right? And then kind of comes this way and this way. And those little ones that are poking out there. And I'm just going to drag it down a little bit and let it blend into that yellow and white that's already on the canvas. Okay. Now, let's take a little bit of the blue and yellow. Let's make that an interesting green there. Needs to be a little more blue and add a little white. So this is going to be kind of a different color of green. And let's just kind of put a little shadow up here. And we can blend that into the white that's already there. That's a little shadow. And maybe up here's a little shadow. And over here, I'm just kind of planning the shadows a little bit here. And I'm just blending that right into the white. Let's see, we've got some shadow here. And a little bit here. Blend that into the white. And then on this side up here, a little bit of a shadow. And then I'm going to go ahead and get some more white. And let's just blend that in a little better here. See how that's getting really a light color. It's kind of like that blue is coming through the white of the flower a little bit. And let's use a little more white. Oh, I got a lot of white. Sorry about that. And we'll just kind of go ahead and blend that in there. Blend this in here with that white on my brush. And I'm using a lot of white to blend in this green because I just kind of want it to be a little shadow. And see how that's blending really well. A little more white here, I think. Oops. Picked up some green, and that's all right too. And let's do some white here. up here. A little more white. Don't want that quite so green. Yeah. So I've got some green and white, kind of blended. I'm not real fond of this. Let's just add a little more white here, kind of blend it in a little more. And because it's wet, it's not really doing what I want it to do. So we're gonna let it dry just a little bit as we work on other stuff. Okay. A little shadow on that side too. Alrighty. Now let's go ahead and rinse our brush. And with the same round brush, oops, I don't think I have a paper towel. Okay, so with the same round brush, I'm gonna get a very, very light blue. Okay, see how that's very light blue? And I'm gonna go ahead in the background, I'm just gonna put in some splotches of the light blue. See, I'm just kind of touching it and rub it in a little bit, maybe a little darker blue even. Just to kind of give it a little personality in the background, some shine. And I am just rubbing it in, a little bit of the dark blue and a little bit of white here and there. And see how that kind of gives it an idea that there's a shadow back there, maybe some more flowers. We're not really sure what's back there. And over here, let's just take a little white. And that was a mess on my canvas I didn't like, so we're just gonna go over that with some white. Nice to hide things, and this. Because this side's the lighter one, we're gonna have some lighter little items in the background, just to, you know, just a thought that there is something there. And here we'll have a little flower here. But let's go ahead and use some white here. Just kind of, yeah, just kind of give the background a little personality. And I am just taking a little dab of paint and I'm just putting it down and kind of rubbing it in. You can put it anywhere you want it to go. Make it light or dark. I just kind of, yeah, see, I like that better for the background. Now I'm going to go ahead and take the white again. And let's start here. We're going to go ahead and try to brighten this up just a little bit. And give it back its white color with that green shining through. There we go. And take more white here. And kind of blend that in a little bit. And white here. And this is just going to be the process of layering until I get the colors I want it to be. And some more white. And blend that in there. That's got a little yellow on my brush, which is fine. And a little more white over here. Oop, a lot more white over here. Okay, and this is going to be like a little fold, like it's folded down. Alrighty. Now, this one's kind of curved a little, so I'm going to take that, the yellow and the blue and the white, and make that interesting color green, but we're going to really lighten this up. See how that's a really light color? And I'm going to kind of give it a little shadow of where it's, see how it's kind of flipped over on itself right there. And then, where else? Back here, it's a little bit of a flip. I just touched it is all. Yeah, I think we're good here. So where the shadow is, it kind of makes it look like it's bent over a little bit. All right, kind of blend that in. Okay, now I'm gonna rinse my brush. The round brush. And I'm gonna go back into that green, that medium foliage green here. And I'm gonna add a little white, and let's try a little yellow. My paints are running together. And let me put in the stem here. It's kind of a funky color green, kind of an olive green, which I like. I was kind of shooting more for, you know, a lighter color, pastel-y type pastel color anyway. And we'll do just fill in this little stem. A little green, a little yellow, a little white. And fill that in. And then this little leaf here. Is get a little point there. All right, he's kind of folded a little bit. And I'm going to use the green and yellow and white again. And just keep mixing it off to the side so I can go ahead and paint this leaf. And it goes behind the flower. And it comes down like that. And you can make these any shape you would like. And we'll put little stem off this way with the little, kind of a little leaf coming off the edge, rough leaf. Okay. Now up here, these are the little buds. And we're gonna start with that same green, yellow, and white color. And make it like an olive green. And we're just gonna fill these in here and here. And it goes behind that flower, and the other one's like right here. And it's kind of oblong, okay. And let's give this little guy a stem, which goes down into here and goes down into there. Okay. So now we've got a little bit of the background going on. So let's go ahead and take the darker green, just that green color, not with the yellow and white. And let's go ahead and give it a little bit of outside shadow here. Oops. And a shadow here. Because they're kind of striped. Oh, they kind of look a little striped with this because of the shadows. And maybe a little dark green down in here just to kind of give it a little more color. And I'm just going to blend that right in and blend it into this one a little bit. He's kind of just rough hanging out there. And so we're just adding a little bit of that dark green and kind of blending it in, giving it a little bit of texture. Yeah. And now what we're going to do is, I think we need a little, maybe a little bit of the yellow in the background, maybe up in here, a very pale yellow, just yellow with a lot of white with that yellow. And then I'm just going to put some like little yellow spots here, show maybe there's like some flowers behind this one back here in the background. And I'm just scribbling them in a little bit, just kind of a little color. So there's flowers going in the background there. And up here, they're going to be a little closer on this little stem. So it's a little closer, but still, you know, far away. But the darker it is, the closer it will bring it. So a little yellow there, maybe some yellow here. Okay, so now we're gonna go ahead and let's go ahead and get some more of the green and yellow and white again and make that interesting olive color, because we did forget the stem right here that comes off of this guy. And into here. Flower's gotta have a stem, and we'll cover that a little bit better here. So I'm gonna go ahead and rinse my brush, and let's get the white. Just the white, and we're going to bring this around like so over that stem. And I'm going to add some more white in here, and let's start brightening these guys up a little bit. But he's got a shadow there. Oops. There's the white with its shadow underneath. And up here, let's give it some white up here. Oh, I put it in the green. And that's okay too. And the yellow. Okay, go ahead and fill this one in. And a little more white. I'm almost out of white over here. And we'll put this guy up here where it's curved over, flipped over the edge there. And then up here, give him some more white, bring him out a little bit brighter. See how that's looking really nice and bright now? I'll cover that yellow just a little bit with white. And let's go over here with the white over the leaf. And that's got a little shadow here. So see, the shadows are still in play, but once you start adding the white again, it will tone it all down really nice and just keep kind of blending that in there until you get it to the way you want it. Yeah, I kind of like that. Now for the little stems on the inside, I gotta get some more white. And let's go ahead, and I'm still using my round brush. There's different stems that come up and down and up in here. And like this. And over here. Right, they come right out of the middle. And then this one kind of has a wiggle here. And here. A little white in there. I'll spread a little more white around so it's not quite so dark. And then I'm going to use the green. I still have the white on my brush, but I'm going to go ahead and put my round brush in the green and kind of roll it a little bit. And let's just kind of give the inside of this a little green way down low in here, the center of the flower. And it can go, into this little, into these little ones that are off to the side. Give it a little shadow there. And then it comes down, kind of a little bit into this one, just to show that that's the very center and it's dark in there. Kind of barely touching it. I'm kind of blending my white in with it and just kind of spreading it around a little bit. And I'm going to go ahead and take that white and let's bring this line down here one more time. Make it a little more white on the inside, right on the inside. See, I'm just putting that line right in there just to show it's got the little stamens coming out there. I think they're called stamens. And then on the end of those, it's actually kind of a dark brown color or maroon color. So let's get, let's use, not red, let's use this. Let's use some, no, I just want some dark brown. So let's use burnt umber. And this is just some generic burnt umber. And we're not going to use much of it. It's the dark brown color. Any dark brown works. And let's go ahead and just put a little end on this guy. And go around, and we're going to give these guys their little end pieces here. Like it's growing out of the middle here. And this one's a little bigger. Yeah. Okay, and they all kind of go up there. So now what I'm going to do is, I don't think it's standing out quite enough, so I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to use the dark green and my round brush and just dip it in just a little. We're going to go ahead and get a little bit of green here. Just a little green going up to the brown. And I'm going to go ahead and go again with the white and kind of bring the white in and kind of just blend it in and soften it. Sorry, my dog is whining, howling. So we're going to blend all that in so it just kind of goes in there, see? Now I'm going to go ahead and we're going to make these flowers a little bit whiter. in areas. So this is pretty white through here. Let's go ahead and make this kind of shiny, white, bright. And then the top one is really bright through here and up in here. And over here, I'm going to go ahead and give it some white underneath. Right into that shadow we made where it's folded over. And we'll give it some white on top. And this one here is white here. Make it a little brighter. It goes over the other one. And a little brightness here. It's a little kind of flipped over a little bit too. This one is straight down like that. A little more white and make it a little wider. And then this guy is really bright under here. Okay, and then we're gonna go ahead and take a little bit of the yellow, and I left the white on my brush, and we're gonna make it a really light yellow. And let's go ahead and draw this back up in here, the yellow coming out of the middle on all the little flowers like so. And I'm going to take the yellow and the white, the really light yellow color, and let's just add a little bit of yellow into these guys randomly, maybe down towards the middle, and give them a little bit more life here, even on my leaves. And I'm just touching it, just touching and scribble. That's all I'm doing. Okay, and let's make sure that is nice and covered there with white. And I'm going to go back over this guy, bring this like a little closer. The flowers that I have in the background, and I'm just dabbing it, and it's got the yellow and the white on the brush. And let's put some down here, around there, maybe even over here, some yellow over here. There's flowers in the background. Oops, not on the green. And you can see a little bit of the brown actually was picked up in my brush, which is fine. Because see how that kind of makes it look like there's flowers in the background. You got a little background going on. And brings this a lot more forward. And I'm just going to add a little more white outline to this. Okay. And there is your abstract. Oh, I grabbed the green. Let's put a little shadow here. He's kind of bent right there, so we're going to give him a little bit of a shadow and then blend that in with white. Yeah, that's more like a shadow there for him. And that's kind of your abstract lily. Kind of a realistic abstract look for you. And it's very simple, it's very quick, and I just adore lilies. They're my favorite flower, and we always have them in the house. So you can touch this up however you want to touch it up. This one's kind of bent a little at the top, so I kind of like that green shadow here. And give it a little bit of a green shadow where it's bent over, so it looks like it's bent. And a little green shadow down in here, just 'cause. Yeah, and I kind of like it. I like the pastel colors. I think it looks really good. And it was quick and easy, and it's a great alternative to Easter other than the bunny and eggs, things like that. So I hope you like it. I hope you paint it. If you do, please post it. And I appreciate you spending the time with me today on this. Thank you.